Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Let me first thank PFRDA to invite me and to share my thoughts on the subject with you. I'll give you the policymakers' perspective because this is an area with which I have been associated for long. So let me give you the first perspective of how we started the national pension system and pension system on voluntary basis for private citizens of the country. When we envisaged a defined contribution system on realization that the defined benefit system for government employees would be extremely costly to maintain and sustain in the future, we thought of creating a system which is common, and it is common across all sectors. And the sector specificity should not determine the choice of labor to join a particular sector. So with this objective in mind, and to also realize the economies of scale and scope, we devised a system, a pension system. NPS is a pension system, it's not a scheme, it's a pension system. So we devised a system which is, first of all, financially self-sustainable. It is cost efficient because we have at the back of our mind the small customer who cannot manage to pay exorbitant costs. And some of the criticisms of the defined contribution stems from this fact that they are pretty prohibitively costly to maintain. And the costs and fees and charges are quite high. This is one of the major criticisms of the defined contribution system. So at the design stage, we went for an unbundled architecture where we utilize the best available institutions to offer services in which they have comparative advantage. And before starting the before opening the national pension system for unorganized sector workers or for private citizens on voluntary basis, a lot of thought has gone into the designing the system from the supply side and also from the demand side. I remember in 2006, we partnered with, the Government of India partnered with the Asian Development Bank, and we conducted a nationwide survey which was conducted in almost all the states and UTs of the country, except maybe one or two states where it could not be conducted. And the findings of, Dr. Charan Singh has talked about the classic case of myopia. And this was classic conclusion which came out of this study that, yes, people are worried about their old age, but they are not consciously saving to ensure that their old age is secured. So, if you want to see the report of this survey and the study, it is available on ADB's website. And there was a number of behavioral insights which were for the first time in India, we could get behavioral insights into people as to what are the various saving instruments which are favored, why they are favored, which are the institutions. If we have to start devising the contribution collection agencies in the pension system, which are the agencies which would be most useful, and those who are trusted by, those would be trusted by the subscribers. This also, this survey also went into the question of where are the markets, which are the segments where you could offer a defined contribution system, pension system, which was not the case earlier. And what are the other competing products, long-term savings products, and how the national pension system should be designed and marketed so that people are encouraged to accept this. Because as you know, there is a clear case of preference towards small saving instruments, which are where the rates of interest are administratively determined, they are not market determined. And what are the challenges in increasing coverage under the national pension system on voluntary basis? And I think these kind of behavioral surveys into savings and into the behavioral aspects of people should be regularly conducted, because they will give great insights into making course correction in terms of redesigning the pension system. And it would also give insights into the marketing of the products, and it will help the market to actually design products according to the needs of people. The biggest challenge that we face, both the government and the Pension Fund Regulatory and Development Authority, is to increase coverage. And as we know, no country has been able to dramatically increase coverage of voluntary pension systems. Wherever they were introduced, there has not been any dramatic increase in either the savings rate, overall savings rate, or coverage under the pension system. So it's a very hard problem to solve. And we are constantly striving and struggling to design products. But if you see the national pension system, you will find that we have taken advantage of the research and empirical studies in the human psychology and the behavioral economics to design a product which is simple, where the choices are, investment choices are simple. The pension fund managers which are managing the assets are finite. They are not infinite. If that was not the case, we could have allowed the mutual funds to offer pension products. But that's not the path that we have chosen. It's only because from the design perspective, we wanted to make things simple, because simplicity has its virtues, and it is very clearly understood in financial economics. In fact, there are studies which show that even the financially literate subscribers or customers do not make rational choices. So there are limitations to rationality in this. So considering all these aspects, national pension system was devised, which is a cost-efficient system from the perspective of the small customer. It's portable and it's cost-efficient. But our biggest challenge is to explain this to the people in the language that they understand, and to wean away people from the traditional saving instruments like savings deposit. As we know, there is a greater inclination for people to go for savings deposit or recurring deposits, or maybe gold or other non-financial kinds of savings. And we are still not able to find a perfect answer to this. I mean, financial literacy is important, as the previous speaker has spoken about this. But I think there are limitations to financial literacy. I mean, as we know, there are limits to even if you give the best information to the customer, he may not exercise the rational choice. So from the design side, I think we have got a system which is a modern system. The challenge is to market this and to convince people to come forward and come out of their myopia and start working actively towards their old age. I think with this I'll stop. Thank you.